so this is a little shoulder snack for you. So we're going to work on the neck and shoulders, and we're going to open the front of the shoulder, the back of the shoulder, all the way around the shoulder joint, and we'll start with the neck. So we're going to sit up for this. You can either kneel up, you can sit cross-legged, you can sit on the chair. You're going to have the whole of your upper body nice and upright and effortless. So I've got the bolster here. I'm just going to straddle that bolster, and we're going to make sure that we're nice and upright. You might want to take the buttocks back a little bit. You want to feel that the curve of the lower back is still there. You're going to lift up the chest. We can widen through the collarbones. We can kind of draw the throat back a little bit and the chin back a little bit, as if you're pushing your back of your head into an imaginary wall, and then lifting up the crown of the head. So just roll the shoulders a little bit. Just feel today's tension. And then set the shoulders a little bit back, a little bit down. Nice feeling of width across the chest. And you can close your eyes if you want to, or you can just gaze down and take a few deep breaths here. See if you can breathe through the nose. If you can't, don't worry. But if you can, then do. And you can breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth a couple of times, just really sighing the breath out, just to set that signal to the nervous system that it's time to kind of let go, start to release some tension. Really taking this little moment at the beginning just to kind of set this practice apart from your normal everyday schedule. If you're anything like me, rushing around, trying to squeeze in some stretches and some self-care. So really exaggerating this moment right now, kind of encouraging yourself to just be still and to extend this pause before we go into the self-care practices, just to have a bit of space in between, just to be still and to be with the breath. And that's like coming home. And actually these moments are as important as the movements that we make. So arriving in your body, arriving in your breath, and just settling your mind on the gentle flow of the breath. We'll try and use the breath through the practice. And we're going to do some simple neck movements. You're going to take a deep breath in here, and then as you breathe out, just dropping the chin down a little bit. As you drop the chin down, imagine that you're lifting the chest up and widening the collarbones. The chin won't touch the chest. There should still be some space because the chest is nice and lifted. But I want you to imagine that instead of trying to bring the chin down, we're trying to actually lift the cranium bone at the back of the head up. So really tractioning or stretching, lengthening the tissues at the back of the neck. If we draw the throat back a little bit, you're really lengthening those tissues at the back of the neck even more. And take a deep breath in here. As you breathe out, hold that and just let the shoulders drop down a little bit more. One more time. As you breathe in, imagine that kind of tractioning, the lengthening that's happening at the back of the neck. As you breathe out, just let your shoulders just fall into gravity. There's a real energetic kind of addition to the stretch. And keeping your chin down, just rocking the head from side to side. Nice and slowly. Just keep that head tilted down as you take your ear to one side at a time. Nice flowing breath. And finish still with the chin down, but in the center. And the next time you breathe in, lift the head as if the breath in is bringing you back up to center. And then as you breathe out, drop one ear down towards one shoulder and then drop both shoulders. Take a breath, feel the breath coming up into the chest. And then center the head and go to the other side, dropping the ear towards the shoulder, dropping both shoulders, taking some breaths, feeling the breath lift right up into the top of the chest. And then centering the head again as you inhale. And as you exhale, just turning, so keeping the chin level with the floor, turning to one side and inhaling back to center and exhaling, turning to the other side. Inhaling back to center And then what we're going to do is inhale and lift the shoulders up towards our ears, and then hold the breath, hold the tension, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then when you do need to exhale, you suddenly let the breath go through the mouth and drop the shoulders. So let's do that another 3 times. Breathing in, lifting the shoulders up to the ears, holding the breath, holding the tension. Exhale, let go. Last time. Breathe in, lift, hold, hold. Exhale, let it go. Very nice. Roll the shoulders again. Now you're going to take your left hand and you're going to take it behind you. So you can either sit on your left buttock, you could sit on your right buttock, or you could take your left hand so that it's here round your right waist. Then you can take your right hand and hold it. So it doesn't matter where it is, maybe your right hand's on your thigh and your left hand's just under a buttock somewhere. But what we're doing is just drawing that left chest open, shoulder back, and then drawing it down a little bit. So really got this action of opening the front of the shoulder, taking the shoulder back and dropping the shoulder, so you get a little bit of a stretch. And then you can drop your head over to the right and just hold for a few breaths. Just feel that whole kind of section lengthening, drawing back and down, really getting some release in the shoulder there. And then keep the head down, bring the hands back to the thighs, and then the next time you inhale, center the head but very gently. And then you're going to take your right hand behind you, either sit on the right buttock, left buttock, or take it to the left waist. If it's by the left waist, you can hold onto it. You don't need to hold onto it, but we're going to feel that openness in the right chest, right shoulder drawing back and down, and then dropping the head to the left. I'm not mirroring you, so hopefully you've got this. And just feeling that the shoulders drawing back and down, the chest is opening, and you can feel that really along the whole of that right side. Taking a breath. Keep the head where it is, gently bring the hands back, and then on your next inhale, lift the head back to center but effortlessly, and then drop the chin down to the chest one more time. Feel those tissues lengthening, roll the shoulders up, back and down, and take the hands by the sides. Now we're going to just lift and lower the arms with the breath. So as I inhale, I'm going to take the arms out and up. I'm going to stretch the ribs, I'm going to stretch the armpits. I could take my head right back and look at my thumbs, that's optional. And as I bring my head down, I bring my hands down. So let's do another 3. Breathing in, lengthen the arms, lift the arms, lift the chest. Breathe out, dropping down. And again, follow the breath. Exhale. Last one like this, we're going to inhale. And this time, as we exhale, we're going to go over to the right, drop the right hand down, reach the left hand over. You can bend that right arm. And then as you inhale, push on that right hand, come up, and exhale over to the left. Bend the left arm, reach over, and then as you inhale, push on the left fingertips, come up. Let's do a couple more of those. Exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling and inhaling. And this time we'll go back and we'll stay for a little bit. And what we're going to do is make sure that this right shoulder, the bottom shoulder, is rolling back and down, so I'm not kind of jutting forward. I'm keeping the back nice and straight. And I'm just going to take some movements with that top arm, as if I'm moving the shoulder blade. So it doesn't have to be really kind of strong stretch. I'm just going to start moving the arm in circles. And then I'm going to let my bottom ear drop and start to feel that my head's nice and heavy. And then I'm going to stretch my left arm parallel to the floor and over to the left, as if my fingertips are pulling towards the left side of my mat. But my right ear is dropping down, and I feel this stretch just under the skin, the side of my neck, top of my shoulder. Roll that left shoulder into its socket, so slightly back and down. Right shoulder slightly back and down. And just keep reaching over to the left with the left fingertips and down with the right ear. Now imagine that this left hand is being pulled over to the left. Come up, but keep the head down, and then bring your right hand to your right cheek and press the head up so you don't have to use any neck muscles. Very nice. And then inhale, let's go back up. Exhale, let's go over to the left now and sink down. That left shoulder is going to roll back and down, and I'm just going to start to make some gentle movements, releasing the shoulder blade. And I'm going to start dropping my left ear down. And then I'm going to send my right hand over to the right as if it's being pulled over to the right. Left ear dropping down until I can feel that gentle tug under the skin. Right shoulder tucked into its socket slightly back and into the socket. Left shoulder slightly back and down. Left ear dropping down. Right fingertips reaching to the right. I love this one. Hope you do too. And then I'm going to imagine my right fingertips are now being pulled. Someone's pulling me over to the right. Keep the head down. Bring the spine upright, the hands onto the lap. Then the left hand comes to the left cheek and pushes you back up. And then take a deep breath. Roll the shoulders. Very nice. So hopefully you're still okay. You can always adjust your position, stretch out your legs, or change your position. We're just going to do some cactusing and rolling the shoulders. So bring the elbows level with the shoulders, or as much as you can, and take the elbows back so you really feel a stretch across the front of the chest. And then as if you can push the backs of the hands back a little bit as well, and the back of the head a little bit. So really kind of lifting the chest, opening, squeezing the shoulder blades towards the spine there. Take a deep breath in here, and as you breathe out, hug the arms. If you can't hug, then squeeze. And if you can't hug, just remember which arm's on top, because we'll be switching. Now you can curl the spine a little bit and tuck the chin in. And then just again notice which arm's on top if you are hugging. And then as you inhale, cactus the arms again. And as you exhale, either squeezing forearms or hugging with the opposite arm on top. Squeeze. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhale. And exhale. So if you're hugging, keep changing. If you're squeezing, keep squeezing. Inhale. And exhale. Now stay where you are in your exhale. If you've got your arms hugged, then you can try and drop everything. So here I was squeezing, my shoulders are kind of up into my ears. I'm going to drop my elbows, drop my shoulders, and start to move my hands, the backs of the hands towards each other. And as I do that, my elbows go down. I'm feeling that my shoulder blades are really stretching wide apart. And you might be able to get the arms and the hands together in eagle, but I'm not worried about that. I'm really thinking about stretching, especially the arm that's on top. So this is my arm that's on top. I can feel that shoulder blade really having a stretch. And next time you breathe in, let's go back. And exhale, hugging the opposite way. Hug, 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 and then drop everything. So as I drop my shoulders, my elbows come down, shoulder blades start to move away from each other. And as I then move my backs of my hands towards each other, I can feel, especially the shoulder with the arm that's on top, is being pulled away from the spine a little bit more. Very nice. And then inhale, cactus, and then exhale. Release, and just notice. How's that going so far? Whew, feels a little bit better, a bit more loose in the neck. Okay, so then let's try and take the elbow back. So take the left arm up, bring the hand down. Now you can have the hand on the back of the head, you can have the hand on the back of the neck, or you can have the hand down between the shoulder blades. It depends where your arm's going to go, and it doesn't really matter. I'm going to take my hand to the front of that left elbow up to the sky just to make room for my head, and I'm going to pull that elbow back and up And I'm just going to lean my head back a little bit, because what happens is I tend to kind of drop my head forward. So I'm just going to lean back, lift the chest. So here I'm kind of feeling a stretch on the tricep part of my arm here, my armpit and my side ribs. As I try and lean my head into my hands, my left hand now is moving down between my shoulder blades. And I'm trying to keep the stretch out of my lower back, so I'm trying not to overarch, but really keep it in the upper back. Take a deep breath in. And breathing out, take the arms out and down. Roll the shoulders, and let's do the other side. So right hand's going to come up to the sky, going to come behind the head, behind the neck, or down towards the shoulder blades. Left hand's going to take the front of the elbow, lift it up and back, and then I'm going to just set my head so I can lean into that. Right hand's leaning down between the shoulder blades, and I'm just kind of trying to stretch out that upper arm, the armpit and the rib area. Taking a few deep breaths. Have a little wriggle here. I like the effect that all of this has on the rib cage as well. And then inhale. And as you exhale, taking the arms out and down. Ah, very nice. Okay, so then I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to just stretch the arms back a little bit. So I'm going to take the hands, let's just take the fingertips together if you can. If not, take hold of the sides of the bolster, or you could have a block in between your hands. So if you can interlink the fingers, great. If you can't, great. Try and keep your elbows bent to begin with. So with the elbows bent, we're going to lift the shoulders up, drag them back and down, and then if you want to, you can straighten the arms, and then if they lift a little bit, you can lift. But we really want to have the arms bent as we roll the shoulders back and down, otherwise we tend to straighten the arms and lean everything forward. So with the elbows bent, lift the shoulders up, draw them back and down, then straighten the arms if they want to straighten, lift them up if they want to lift. Just take some deep breaths, neck nice and relaxed. And then release from that, and just see if you can take hold of one arm. So I've got my right hand taking hold of my left arm just above the elbow. That's great. And then you can change and take hold of the other arm above the elbow. And then maybe then you take hold of both arms. And then you've got to go back to the original one. My right hand's taking hold of my left arm. And then I'm going to take hold of my right elbow with my left hand. And then release. Okay, so let's come off the bolster now. I'm going to come onto my bottom, and I'm just going to have this kind of nice diamond shape, really easy. You could have something under your bottom here if you wanted, like a folded blanket. Soles of the feet are together, out away from the pelvis. I'm going to just hold my legs lightly under the knees, so I've got a good little purchase with my fingers and thumbs, and I'm just going to do some spiraling. So there's a lot of sitting up, and often when we start trying to open the upper back, the lower back tends to come and do a bit too much work to help us, depending on your body. But I'm just going to do some spiraling. So I'm going to connect it with my breath. So as I move forward, I'm going to exhale. No, I'm going to inhale. And as I move back, I'm going to exhale. It doesn't really matter, but as I move forward, it's like I'm going to open my chest, squeeze my shoulder blades back so that fits with an inhale. And as I move back, I'm kind of closing my chest so that fits with an exhale. But do it how you want. Just breathe. You can imagine that you're feeding your chest through your shoulder blades. You want to imagine that your rib cage is kind of moving in its own circles above the floor, as is your head. So the whole body can get involved here. And let's change direction, and then you've got to re-find your breath pattern. Starting to kind of really move, wind with this, as everything gets a bit more loose. And then you can sink back. So I'm going to hold on with my thumb and fingers. I'm going to drop my chin towards my chest and really feel that my whole of my spine is rounded from the bottom to the top. And then I'm going to pull with my hands, lift up my chest and roll onto the sitting bones. And then draw my shoulders back and just look up a little bit. Don't stretch the neck too much. I'm really opening the chest. Got shoulder blades squeezing towards each other. This is a breath in. And breathing out, I'm going to roll back, curling the spine. Breathing in, opening. Breathing out, closing. And just flow through a few more. Really nice, gentle cat and cow. Just linking the neck and shoulders to the rest of the whole back line there, the whole spine. And then just come to sit upright, somewhere in between the two, and take a nice deep breath. Okay, so now we're going to do a little kind of yin style pec stretch. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a blanket nearby, and we're going to go onto the tummy. If I have the blanket, I'm going to use it for my head. I'm going to take my left arm out and kind of, instead of straight, I'm going to have a little bend in it. So I don't need to go to cactus like 90 degrees, but I don't want to keep it straight. I want to keep it a little bit bent. I'm going to turn my head to the right, and this is where I might leave my left ear on the pillow or on the blanket. And I'm actually going to use my right hand, fingertips on the floor, to lift me up. I can bring my right knee up a little bit. And what I want to feel is a stretch, a very strong stretch. Not too strong, but I can feel it quite easily in the left pec. I don't have to go very far to get this. You might want to go further and hug your knees on top of each other. But for me, I don't need to go very far. It's just lifting that right knee up a little bit, pressing with the right fingertips. Right fingertips are on the mat in front of my face, and I'm pressing in to lift that right shoulder blade up and away, and I'm feeling a very strong stretch in my left pec. Now it doesn't have to be really strong, so you can back off from that, so it's about sort of 60%. So not screaming at you. You don't have to go very far at all, and sometimes maybe you're just flat with your arm like this, and that's enough. I know one side for me is much stronger and I don't go very far, whereas the other side I can turn right round. So just feel some sort of middle path, and we just hold for a little bit. See if you can relax your neck a little bit, and then take 3 deep breaths here. We're going to hold for about a minute with these yin stretches. And then come back. And then we'll do the other side. So maybe you'll see better what I did on the other side. So my right arm is at this kind of not straight out, not right angle, but I've got this kind of sort of I've got that with my right hand. I'm turning to the left. I'm going to use my left fingertips and my left knee to just lift away. So if that isn't enough, I can bring my right knee up as well. So you're really feeling that you're opening up here, the front of the shoulder. So often that is what's limiting us in our shoulders. Try and relax the neck. Again, you can have just one knee up. You can push with your left hand, lifting the left shoulder back. And then back off from that so that it's about 60% of your stretch capacity. So it's not too intense, but you're definitely feeling something. be here. Some people can actually take that top foot off and land it behind. You can make any kind of position with your legs. The legs are just trying to find a way to get gravity to hold you in that stretch, kind of so that you don't have to use so much effort. So you don't have to be very prescriptive with the legs. You're just feeling that stretch on the right pec, near the armpit, above the breast tissue. Take 3 more deep breaths. And then come back. And then just come up onto the elbows. You can have the hands however they are. I'm just going to drop my head down, drop and lay into my shoulders. Real kind of lazy sphinx. Just for a few breaths. So I don't have to push up, out. I don't have to keep the neck straight. I'm just literally letting my spine relax. So my shoulders are kind of held up. And then I'm going to come up onto knees. If this isn't comfy, you can easily change position to sit upright for a moment. Again, have a little check-in. Got one more thing to do, but hopefully you're already feeling a little bit of a kind of release there. I feel like my shoulders started right up by my ears, and now they're kind of making their way down into their natural place. So the last thing I'm going to do is take the blanket and I'm going to roll it. If it's too intense, you can make this roll a little bit less thick, but this is going to go under my shoulder blades. I'm also going to have bolster under my knees, so this is going to be kind of like a restorative pose that we'll finish with, and you can go ahead and rest in relaxation after that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this roll so that it's under my armpits, so it's coming out, it's kind of catching the bottom of the shoulder blades. It's coming out below my armpit, so if my arms are out to the side, the blanket's underneath. And then I'm going to just let my head go onto that blanket. I can take my arms overhead, I can cactus them, I can take them out by the sides, and I'm just going to let the back of my ribs be lifted up, the back of my shoulder blades be lifted up, as I just hang out here for a few breaths. If it's very strong for your neck, you can adjust. You could maybe pop a little rolled up hand towel under your neck if you wanted to. But really, it's better to kind of make this roll a bit less fat and just come up a little bit less. But seeing if you can just let your arms go where they want to, see if you can really relax. Don't worry if your arms carry on moving as you hold this position. Feel the back of the head into the floor. An openness between the chin and the chest, so you're not really kind of chin towards the chest, but it's not too much of a back bend in the neck either. But you have got the chin kind of lifting up a touch. It's an openness. And feeling that you can just lay on these props and really let go as much as you can. Let the arms go. See, my arms are kind of drifting away. The more and more I relax, just letting go. And this is one that you can stay for a good few minutes. It's like you don't know how tight you are. As you hold this, you can feel these little kind of bits of give. As you release things that you didn't even realize you were holding on to. As long as it's comfortable and not straining the lower back or the neck, you can really hold this for a while. recommend that you continue to hold this, and when you've had enough, you're just going to lie flat. Basically, you've got to take this blanket out. So I'll leave you like this, but I'm going to explain what you can do afterwards. You'll just have to kind of bend your knees and roll up a little bit away from the blanket so that you can actually take hold of that blanket and take it out. And then you can rest. You could even put it over the top of the chest. Keep you nice and warm, and you can rest still with that bolster under your knees. So you don't have to come out just yet, but when you do, roll up towards the head end of your mat until you can grab that blanket, grab it with your hands, place it over your chest, and then I recommend continuing to rest in your Shavasana for as long as you possibly can, and I will see you next time.